Hello again, it's TryHard, and I'm back at you some more Diablo 3 Reaper of Souls content. In today's video, we'll be going over the quickest farming build for bounties on your Demon Hunter. We're actually useful for once, which is kind of amazing this season, because that doesn't really happen too much. We're not really the best. But anyways, we're going to be looking at the build, cube passives, pretty much everything you want to know to farm efficiently and quickly on your Demon Hunter while farming those bounties. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe if you do like the content. So let's get started. Alright, so getting straight in there. The build itself is pretty simple. It's kind of more or less the same as you use for your Unhallowed Essence farming, but it's got its differences. So pretty much Evasive Fire with Focus, your main ability, generates a lot of focus, or a lot of hatred, which is absolutely crucial for the build. And Multi-Shot with Arsenal is like our bread and butter, main, just ridiculous amounts of damage kind of thing. So we'll be using Preparation. Now, it's kind of up to you how good your damage is already, but my damage is good enough to kill stuff instantly in T7 while using the Punishment rune. So pretty much my hatred is constantly staying at full, which is crucial for vaulting around. We'll go over the gear in a minute, though. If your gear is not very good and you're using the UE6 set, which you should be with this build, Invigoration is the way to go. Increase your max discipline by 15. So when you do get to things you need to kill, you kill them quickly with that because you get the extra damage from the 15 max discipline. But I'd recommend Punishment for that extra hatred. Vault with Tumble. I'm using this because we're not going to be cubing Cindercoat, and it pretty much makes Vault, you can cast it indefinitely. Vengeance with Seethe. This is very good for keeping that hatred up while you don't have your shrines up, which we'll go over in a few minutes. But yeah, this is just amazing for that hatred regen. And then Back Companion, again, for the hatred regen, so we can spam our vaults nonstop and get to those bounties as quick as possible. Night Stalker, more hatred regen. Tactile Advantage, movement speed after you vault, which is very helpful. Hot Pursuit, again, more movement speed whenever you hit an enemy, which goes hand in hand with Vengeance. And Ambush for that extra bit of damage when we actually get to things. The build's pretty set in stone, not too much you can change. You can swap out Ambush for whatever you want, maybe like Archery, or I don't see too much extra things you could swap it for. Maybe Awareness if you're dying a lot. It's pretty helpful. But yeah, it's pretty set in stone, pretty simple, and it revolves around the items, which we'll go over now. So we will be using the UE 6 sets, the Unhallowed Essence 6 set. Absolutely amazing. Really good for what we're doing here, just because your burst damage is really high. You don't have to rely on putting sentries down or ramping up Reign of Vengeance with Natalius or anything. So yeah, the UE 6 sets, and then the Dinetta's 2 sets, which is absolutely crucial. Turns your Vault your Vault resource into hatred instead of discipline. So literally, like you can see, it's pretty ridiculous. So yeah, that's definitely crucial. If you do have the option to reforge these, max discipline on your secondary is very nice. Other than that, hatred regen and max damage is the way to go. Other key items for this, which are really nice just for getting that extra bit of damage in, Focus Restraint combo. Obviously very, very nice for ramping up your damage to that extra 100%. Amulet isn't really crucial. Hellfire with a nice passive on it is good. But other than that, yeah, I mean, Hunter's Wrath is just really nice for that extra attack speed on your main generator. And other than that, gem selection, I would say either Flawless Royal Topaz or Flawless Royal Diamond. Cooldown reduction is actually very nice here because we'll be using Prep, Back Companion, and Vengeance. So you have 3 abilities which is being affected from. Probably recommend that, although with my gear, I'm finding Topaz is equally as okay for that extra bit of magic find. Paragon points, movement speed being capped is crucial. Crit chance, crit damage, cooldown reduction, then attack speed in that order. Crit chance equal to crit damage depending on what you're at. Cooldown reduction is very key here for, again, your abilities. Defensive, armor, life, all resist. Armor, all resist, life in that order. Depending on your gear, again, you can resist all armor, then life. And then area damage, resource cost reduction is probably key, then area damage, life on hit in that order. Let's have a look at the cube passives. If you have any other gearing questions, let me know in the chat below. But we'll look at cube passives and gems now as well. Gem-wise, pretty simple, I guess. There's not really, I'd say, the best options here. Like, there's nothing that's definitively better. Just aim for damage. Taeguk is probably the one gem you want to be using all the time. Now that your vault is using Hatred, it actually generates stacks of Taeguk. So your damage is always going up as you're vaulting, along with your survivability, if your gear is not great. So there's that. Zay's Stone of Vengeance, you find yourself pretty close up to stuff, but it's raw damage. The stun, I guess, is okay, but yeah, the raw damage is there. And then Bane of the Trapped, your follower can proc the slow. Other than that, you don't have much to proc it. But yeah, your follower procs it, and then the aura as well procs it. If not, swap out your Zays for an Ice Blink, and you can keep up that constant damage, but you probably want to swap that out for some other random thing if you're not finding you can keep the effect up. But I find with your followers, Thunder Fury plus being close enough, yeah, it works out okay. So other than that, gems, yeah, pretty simple. They're not overly important for this build, to be honest with you. As long as you're doing enough damage to things, that's all that matters. Let's have a look at the Q passives. Okay, guys, so moving on to the Q passives. There are a few options here depending on playstyle. Deadman's Legacy, Ingom, or Yang's Recurve for your weapon. I'll go over all those now. I like Deadman's Legacy because... Deadman's Legacy because your ambush passive, pretty much, let's have a look at it. It brings enemies down to pretty much below 60% in the first shot you shoot if your gear's good enough, and then the second shot you shoot will hit twice with multi-shots. So you essentially just shred through stuff instantly with that combo. Yang's Recurve is the other option. I don't like this because it's a constant battle between managing a resource between shooting and vaulting. This becomes less of an issue once we get Empowered Shrine, but if we get Empowered Shrine. But yeah, I feel like Deadman's Legacy is a net DPS gain. And then Ingom is the other option. This as well, if you get Empowered Shrine, becomes a useless effect. Pretty much whenever you kill an enemy or an elite pack, you get 10% off your cooldowns, giving you a lot more hatred as you go on. Brings up your vengeance a lot quicker, allowing you to vault indefinitely. But this moves us on to the Gloves of Worship, which is our armor slot. This gives our shrine effects 10 minutes of effect. So Empowered Shrine for 10 minutes is literally unlimited resource for 10 minutes. Like, you will not run out of hatred with your Empowered Shrine. So that kind of makes, like I said, things like Ingom redundant, as well as most of your abilities for gaining hatred. The only reason we're using all the hatred gaining abilities is because you don't always come across an Empowered Shrine. It's not a guaranteed in a game. It's probably like 1 out of every 2 games you'll come across one, pretty much. So yeah, moving on to jewelry. I like conventional elements for that extra bit of burst. But Obsidian Ring of the Zodiac is definitely an option as well, because every time you cast a spell or you shoot, you reduce the cooldown of these. But again, once that's down, once you have Empowered Shrine, these become useless. So I just like the Convention of Elements effect. Other than that, there's not many other real viable options. I don't like any of the other stuff they've put in here. Maybe S of Johan? No, none of it's good. Those are the 3 you pretty much want to use, most definitely. But if you guys have any other cool suggestions, let me know in the comment section below, and we'll have a look. And just a few little tips and tricks before we go into the gameplay. Generally, as a Demon Hunter, you want to be aiming for those bounties that other classes can't really get to that quickly. So, like, a good example is Fields of Misery, Clear Scavenger's Den. This requires a lot of exploring, which is what we're really, really good at. We're good at getting places quickly and covering a lot of map, like, super fast. So I always try to aim for those ones. Killing quests, you kill stuff pretty quickly, but, we're like explorers, essentially. We get around fast as hell, and it's pretty ridiculous. Other than that, just constantly keep an eye on what the bonus is. Don't accidentally complete Act 3 when Act 4 is still available. Just little things like that make it super efficient for not screwing up a bonus bounty and getting, less of one act than you do of the other, which you can see, like, with my mats, we have way more Act 4 ones, and that's because people screw up the bounty, things like that. So, yeah, let's have a look at the gameplay, and I'll show you guys what it's all about. Okay, guys, that wraps it up for today's guide. As you can see in the clip below, or before this, sorry, we did, it's fast as hell. It's probably one of the fastest builds next to, like, I'd probably say it's better than, like, Witch Doctor chicken builds and things like that, Hex builds. I honestly feel like this is probably the fastest build right now for Paragon, or not Paragon farming, for bounty farming. Hence why I said Demon Hunters are finally useful, which is nice. Anyways, in terms of future guides, I got a stutter step guide coming out for those fast attack speed champions. I've had a lot of feedback, like asking how you stutter step so well, why can't my character move like that, just stuff like that. It's a pretty basic technique, which I feel everyone can learn just with a bit of practice, really. It's just, like, if you ever watch any of my videos and you see me pause randomly, it's because my wrist hurts. So with a bit of wrist fortitude, which I'm sure a lot of gamers have, for multiple reasons, yeah, you can do it yourself, and I'll show you how. Other than that, I have a gearing efficiently guide coming up as well. How to gear as quick as possible and just, like, get your character as geared as possible for as little amount of hours played. Something like that. And then I have my Greater Rift clears coming up. 62 I cleared last week. I'll put that up probably the next few days. And then my 64 clears coming up as well. So, yeah, guys, thanks a lot for watching. Like, subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and we'll see you all later. Bye-bye.